Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another night of iRacing action here on the National Racing Network. My name is Chris Graham. It is a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here tonight as we get ready to go for 80 laps around the world's greatest race course, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The ESRA INDYCAR Series has hit the halfway point of the season. Connor Baldwin is your points leader. Qualifications already underway and just about complete here, actually. Let's bring you up the timing tower here so you can see where your favorites are. Eric Peterson going to be quickest overall at a 39.37. How about it? 1/100th of a second separating Peterson from Charles Teed. Matt Wagner, Vic Aldrich, and Alec Coates rounding out the top 5 in qualifications. And it looks like we're going to have one car potentially still left to go here. We'll pick up Nick DeGroot as he makes his way around the racetrack. Nick making his way back on to the pit lane, so things are going to be quiet as of now. See if Baldwin's going to get out onto the racetrack, and it looks like he will not. So Connor Baldwin may have to start this race from the tail end of the field, which is, quite frankly, really not where he wanted to be at this point. Like we said, he has the points lead, and it's a sizable lead, 159 to 123 over Ty Richter. But that's not insurmountable, and quite frankly, in no way, shape, or form should we consider this a safe run for Connor Baldwin, especially if you're going to be talking about possibly missing some races over the course of the season. The battle for second, actually, the battle through the rest of the top 5 is pretty darn spectacular. Ty Richter entering the night sitting on 123 points to James Watson's 121. Matt Wagner and Alec Coates tied for 4th at 120. 6th place, Eric Schaus, he's sitting on 117. So you're really only talking like, what, a 5, 6, 7 point gap separating 6th from 2nd in the point standings as they run right now. Taking a look ahead to the schedule here a little bit further on down the season, we are off next week, but we're back June 16th. 3rd race of the Challenge Series. That'll be the Detroit Grand Prix at Belle Isle for the DW12s. Come back towards the end of the month of June, Kentucky Speedway and the artist formerly known as Gateway, Worldwide Technology Raceway. A couple of absolutely fantastic cars here for the IR18s. Challenge Series wraps up the first week of July with a visit to the Michigan International Speedway. Then we close the season out with a road course and the site of the closest finish in IndyCar history, Sebring International Raceway, and then we end the season out at Chicagoland Speedway. 24/10,000ths of a second was the margin of victory there, and I want to say 2003, 2005? It was in the crap wagon days of the IRL. But good Lord, just absolutely fantastic racing those cars put on. May have been a little bit of a death trap, but good Lord, they were, quite frankly, pretty incredible. This race will run 80 laps in distance, which means we're going to see a pretty clean 2-stop strategy here. And looks like we are going to have qualifications wrapping up here in just a moment. Yep, there it is. Qualifications are over. It is time to head for the grid. And we do not want to miss this one. One of the coolest sights in all of sports is race cars lined up on the starting grid at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's get you tonight's starting lineup. Field will be led to the green by Mr. Eric Peterson with a lap time of 39.377 seconds. Charles Teed, 11 thousandths of a second back. He's going to be on the outside of row number 1. Matt Wagner and Vic Aldrich on row 2. Alec Coates and Ty Richter on row number 3. Row 4 is going to have Jim Brooks and Sebastian Kinder, Brandon Ishkanen and Gary Corley on row 5. And how about it? That's the first spot where we see a 1/10 of a second in this field. Absolutely insane. TJ McMurray and Andrew Wasera on row number 6. Row 7 will have Joseph Morales and James Watson. Field starting to roll off, head down towards turn number 1. Row 8, Cullen Johnston and Jason Hand. 0.2 of a second separating the top 15 cars in qualifications. This one is going to be fun. Road number 9, Jeff Destino and Nick DeGroot. Nick having a big-time issue in qualifications, 11.4 seconds off the pace. And Connor Baldwin looks like will not make the start of this one. He will line up in the 19th position. At least he's expected to line up in the 19th position, but unfortunately not seeing Baldwin out on the racetrack. So field making their way down the back straightaway. And it is just about time for one of the coolest sights in all of motorsports. Indy cars down the front straightaway at the Brickyard. Yes, please. We will take that every day of the week. Off of turn number 4. Green flag will fly this time. And as always, race fans, the start of the Grid Rival ESRA INDYCAR Series going to be all yours. Lap number 1 will go in the books, and it's going to belong to Charles Teed. Peterson looking back to the outside. Not going to be quite close enough to attempt to pass there. Oh, and caution is out. Yellow flag is out for the first time here tonight. Trouble on the racetrack for Brandon Ishkanen. This is the break that Connor Baldwin needed to see. Just getting out onto the racetrack. Take a look here and see what happened to Brandon Ishkanen on his way into turn number 1. Oh, a little bit of right side romance. Big hit. Oh, there's a couple of cars. Big into the outside retaining wall. We'll see who else is going to have to come into the pits. Ishkanen has to take the tow. looks like that's going to be TJ McMurray that also is involved in that one. Taking a look here from high atop the world's greatest race course. Field will get the 1 to go signal this time by the start-finish line, and we will get ready to go back to green flag racing. Take a look here at the comments. Awfully quiet in the comments here tonight. Make sure you give us a shout. Let us know where you're watching from. We'll be sure to get your comments on the air. Brandon Ishkanen, obviously the biggest loser of the night thus far. He is down 10 positions from where he started the race. Cullen Johnston down 3 is also pit side. And this is a 38-39 second pit stop for Cullen Johnston. So not the way that Cullen wanted his race to get started either. Connor Baldwin right back on the lead lap. So he will at least have a shot at making a big run through the field. Well, it looks like we're going to have one more lap here behind the iRacing safety car as well. So take a look here. We'll go on board with Matt Wagner as he makes his way down the back straightaway. Turn 3 completely different from the turn 1 end of the racetrack. It's almost indescribable. Turn 3, having been on the Speedway, turn 3 is wide, it's inviting. It really is. It's not an easy corner to drive by any stretch because you're carrying some absolutely insane speeds. However, you're also talking about turn 1 being one of the tightest corners you will ever see on a racetrack. Everything narrows in, the walls get tighter, there's fans everywhere. And you basically have to start your movement for turn 1 before you can actually see turn 1 all the way. Really pretty insane. I mean, you can see it from here from the onboard. It truly looks like you are driving into a tunnel. And there's just a wall at the other end of it. Back to green flag racing we go, working lap number 6 of 80. Charles Teed will be your race leader into 1. Peterson and Wagner nose to tail at the exit of the corner. A little bit of the bob and weave that we saw in the real world Indy 500 here. Peterson to the outside into 3. That's a gutsy line if you can make it stick. He's able to hold on to it, not close enough to complete the pass into 4. He'll have to tuck back in line. But Charles Teed may still not be your race leader at the line as Peterson swings out wide. Oh, call it Teed by a nose cone at the line. Again, Peterson tries that line. Oh, here comes the crossover. Man, I thought he was going to have a shot at the big-time crossover move there. Take a look a little bit further back in the pack here. Pull it up here, all on the side-by-side. This is Nick DeGroot having a look to the inside of Joseph Morales towards turn 1. Actually, excuse me, that was Jeff Destino. DeGroot already completing the pass by the time we took a look at it. Matt Wagner having the look now outside of Eric Peterson. And don't look now, but here come Alec Coates and Ty Richter. Before long, this is going to be a 5-car battle for the race lead. Wagner easily around Peterson off at turn number 4, and he's going to go right to work on Charles Teed for the race lead. Teed getting it way down to the inside of the racetrack, trying to block that lane off. Here comes Coates. He wants a look on Peterson. You wonder if Peterson hasn't turned the fuel map up a little bit. Just the tiniest bit off the pace. But quite frankly, it's going to be enough to lose a couple of positions as Wagner has the look to the outside. He's going to be front wing to rear wing with Charles Teed at the line. But it's not going to be close enough. And Teed, one of the specialists on ovals, is showing that prowess here tonight. Already 10 of the 80 laps are in the books. Expecting the first round of pit stops around lap 25 to lap 27. Wagner again having to look to the outside of the racetrack, just not close enough to get anything accomplished. And good battle back in the pack here as well. Sebastian Kinder, James Watson, Gary Corley. Nick DeGroot going to be right there as well. We'll keep the battle for the lead on the big box here on the left-hand side. Wagner still around the outside. It sounded like the drivers were pretty content that this would be a pretty straight 2-stop race. Not much of a need for fuel savings, so kind of an interesting call here by Peterson. If he thinks he can't make it to lap 26, you actually have to get to lap like 27. Oh, man. Wow, what a move by Wagner. Big dive to the inside. Huge crossover outside off of 2. Wagner's going to have to tuck back in. Ty Richter around Peterson. That'll be for the 4th position. Things starting to settle in here just a little bit. Once again, picking up Nick DeGroot. He's going to go to work on Sebastian Kinder. Coates around the outside of Wagner through 1. That's the line that won Marcus Ericsson in Indy 500 just a few days ago. Coates made it work to absolute perfection. Couple of battles going on a little bit deeper in the field here. Kinder and Corley going to work. As Coates looks to the outside of Teed. Man, so gutsy to make that high line work. Let's go on board here with Alec Coates as well into 3. Don't really hear much in the way of a lift. And just the tiny breathe off the throttle there for Alec Coates on the outside of Charles Teed. And he's got to be concerned with what's behind them as well, because there's Matt Wagner right up the rear end of the race car as well. Ty Richter going to be in this fight here shortly. Truly a 4-car battle for the race lead, making its way down the front straightaway. This time at the line, it's going to be Alec Coates. He was able to get the job done. Is he going to be able to hold on to it? Teed back to the top spot. And Wagner got a fantastic run off it too. It's going to box Alec Coates in. Man, are we going to be crazy enough to try going 2x2 through 3 and 4? They think better of it. Slot back in line, but it's going to be Matt Wagner in P2. Coates and Richter back through the 4th position. Peterson, Aldrich, Watson, DeGroot, Brooks, and Kinder, the top 10. Give the big shout here to Nick DeGroot. He is up 10 positions from where he started this race. Points leader Connor Baldwin only up 1, currently running 14 seconds back to the race leaders in the 18th position. However, Baldwin could be playing a little bit of a strategy game here as well. If you were going to try to do something crazy with the strategy, maybe set yourself up for a very short splash and dash in the second stop. You would have to commit to that very, very early on. Nick DeGroot electing to come down pit lane at the first caution flag of the race. Going to put DeGroot on a little bit of an alternate strategy here as well. Everybody from Jason Hand at 14th all the way back through Brandon Canyon also coming into the pits. And all 19 cars are back out on the racetrack. bring you back to the side-by-side here as we're going to show you the race leaders on the left-hand side. We'll have Vic Aldridge currently running in the 7th position. On the right-hand side of the screen, you can see everybody sort of tucked up in line here. Next real battle on the racetrack going to be James Watson and Jim Brooks. Everybody kind of tucked up in line, trying to do some fuel saving here. After the early incident with Ishkanen, and I believe it was TJ McMurray. Oh, one car big into the wall. That's Ty Richter. Richter with an absolutely junk right front. He will have to come in and take the quick repair. If he can get the car back without wrecking it, or at least completely wrecking it, he'll be able to use the backup car. However, it's going to put him in a really odd position here in terms of the strategy. And the time that he is giving up right now may be a little bit too much to ask. Ooh, scrapes it up against the outside safer barrier. But Cullen Johnston does make it down to pit lane, but it has completely changed the scope of the race here at the front of the field. Charles Teed, Matt Wagner have opened up a huge 2-second gap over new third place runner Nick DeGroot. DeGroot is going to have to worry about Alec Coates. Much like we saw in the real Indy 500 this past weekend, unforced errors are really a name of the game thing here. Cannot make the mistakes getting on and off of pit road. Can't get yourself into a position where you get pinched into the outside wall, contact getting made. You really have to be patient here. Man, I'll tell you what, the gap between the top two and third place Nick DeGroot is closing in a hurry. What was a 2-second gap just a lap and a half ago down to 1.4 seconds. Alec Coates is right there, Eric Peterson, James Watson, now 4 seconds back in the leaders. So sort of have separate groups that are starting to happen here. Teed and Wagner at the front, and here comes Charles Teed. Race leader making his way down pit lane. First pit stops of the night. New fastest lap of the race, and it belongs to Nick DeGroot. 40.626 seconds last time by. Man, and I'll tell you what, this does not get Charles Teed to the end of the race on 2 stops. Gary Corley, TJ McMurray, Jeff Destino coming in as well. And judging by where the pit exits are going to happen, I think you're going to see Charles Teed come out probably about a corner ahead of Matt Wagner. So Charles Teed not quite 1 lap down as he makes his way down the back straightaway. Man, Nick DeGroot is right there all over the back end of Matt Wagner. And here comes Wagner down the pit lane. First stop of the race for Matt Wagner. Alec Coates, Jim Brooks, Vic Aldridge also making their way down the pit lane. Gosh, this just has to feel like you're absolutely crawling down pit lane. Here comes race leader Nick DeGroot off of the final corner. And again, he had an extra 3 or so laps of fuel over everybody. This should put him at the 3rd lap. The other big question is going to be, where do Matt Wagner and Charles Teed cycle out here in relation to each other? Wagner ahead of Teed by about 1 second. Little bit quicker on pit lane for Matt Wagner. Total time on pit lane, 33.9 seconds. 34.5 the time for Charles Teed. Eric Peterson, Andrew ESRA, Joseph Morales, James Watson, Cullen Johnson all coming in here at lap number 28. Nick DeGroot stays out on the racetrack. Here he comes, Nick DeGroot on pit lane now. We'll keep our eye on Matt Wagner. He is the effective leader of the race, as Nick DeGroot and Jason Hand are both on pit lane. Where do we see Wagner rejoin the racetrack in relation to Nick DeGroot? And man, I'll tell you what, it's not even gonna be close. DeGroot on the access lane in turn number 1. Here they come as they exit. Okay, so much for me being a bit of a clown there. Coates and DeGroot going to be side by side down the back straightaway. Teed having the peak on Wagner into 3. Trying to use Andrew ESRA as a pick. The problem is he got to figure out which lane he's going to go to. Oh man, Teed and Wagner almost make contact. Trying to get past the lap car of ESRA. The top 2 will clear. 3rd place, Alan Coates is not able to into 1. DeGroot has to back off, swing a little bit wide. But your top 4 are going to stay all right nose to tail. I love it when these guys make me look dumb. See Forrest Baldwin checking in the comments here. Connor is driving on a laptop and steering with a mouse, trying to stay out of the way for now. Oh my goodness. That would explain we'll say, I guess, a little bit lack of pace out of Connor Baldwin here tonight. No oddballs in terms of strategy. This far, only 2 cars being scored 1 or more laps down. Andrew ESRA 1 lap down in the 18th position. Brandon Ishkanyan 2 laps down in the 19th position. Approaching the halfway point. The strategy game is really, really interesting that's starting to develop here. Looking at the stint lengths, Eric Peterson was able to go an additional 3 laps past what race leader Charles Teed was able to accomplish in his first stint. Where that makes a big difference is that our race leader stopped at lap number 24. Not going to get you to where you need to be here. You're going to, looks like Teed, Wagner, Coates, all will have to make an additional stop. Nick DeGroot could be in the catbird seat as well here. However, he's going to have to make some pretty spectacular mileage in this second stint. Yeah, Charles Teed going to have to do a pair of 28 lap stints in order to make this race all the way to the end. Matt Wagner in a little bit better of a position. Trouble, unfortunately, on the racetrack for Connor Baldwin is he has an issue, but it's going to be down to the infield, so you see the smoke there, big hit into the turn 2 wall. Yeah, you look at this one on the Hot Shoe Racewear instant replay. Well, car a little bit twitchy, little bit of a kiss to the outside wall, and around it goes. Actually, kind of surprised we didn't see a yellow flag there, but Connor able to get the car towed quickly off the racetrack. We go back to the live look. It's going to be a pair of 27 lap stints for both Matt Wagner and Alec Coates. And quite frankly, we could be in splash and dash territory here, unless we start getting back towards somebody like Jim Brooks. And the other big question mark right now is Nick DeGroot, currently running in the 4th position. He has 3 extra laps with that little tiny top off that he did early in the race. Things are going to get very, very interesting here at the world's greatest race course. Seeing Forged Dreams Media checking in saying, "Go Team Watson." Thank you much for hanging out with us here tonight. We appreciate that. We're now seeing Nick DeGroot fall back a little bit further here from your race leaders. Eric Peterson and Jim Brooks also tailing off. Not a ton, but could be just enough to save a bunch of fuel here late. And quite frankly, we're not seeing any battling. Matt Wagner showing no desire to get up around Charles Teed. Take a look here. We'll go on board. Seeing a little bit of a lift there out of Matt Wagner through turn 1. Some of that could be handling. A lot of that is going to be a desire to not run the thing full of fuel. Actually, quite frankly, a little bit surprised that Wagner is shifting down to 5th gear in the corners. Cross flags halfway home. 40 laps down, 40 to go here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And we are about 10 laps. Say 10 to 15 laps here from our final set of stops. Yeah, you know what? The more I think about this, this is almost going to have to be a 3-stop race. At least potentially. You're going to have to start working on saving fuel. Seeing Gary Corley making his way down pit lane. Take a look here. The car looks all right. Don't see anything major going on for Corley's car, but 18, 19 seconds on the clock. So unfortunately for Gary Corley, he will be well down in the field now. If the drivers can get to lap 54, should be very, very close to making it to the end on fuel. If you have to stop before the completion of lap 54, you're talking splash and dash or really crazy, like map 4-5 level of saving. And even that may not be enough to get the job done. Seeing Ty Richter making his way into the pit lane. Pick this one up. That car looks okay. But Richter absolutely committing to a 3-stop race. Richter going to be down and away, 8.1 seconds, the time of the stop. 33.9 the time on pit lane. DJ McMurray also making his way down the pit lane. McMurray stopping here at lap 47. Pretty consistent 22-lap stints here. How about it? Race leader Charles Teed is on the pit lane. This absolutely now going to lock Teed into a 3-stop race. So now the countdowns begin. Can anybody make it to lap 54? Vic Aldrich and Sebastian Kinder making their way down pit lane. Once again, Teed going to come out just ahead of the race leaders. He will remain on the lead lap. Aldrich down and away, 8.57 seconds, 8.58 the time of the stop for Sebastian Kinder. Jeff Destino on pit lane for what looks like an extended service. However, Jim Brooks making his way down the pit lane. Man, barely got that car inside the box, did Jim Brooks. He'll be down and away 8.18 seconds here at lap number 51. And still none of your other leaders making their way down the pit lane. Here comes Alec Coates to the inside. He will get clear of Matt Wagner. New race leader in turn number 3, and it's going to be Alec Coates. Coates and Wagner both making their way down the pit lane. Coates in his box down and away, and let's see, down and away 11.65 seconds, long stop for Alec Coates. And Nick DeGroot is going to make lap number 54. Eric Peterson, James Watson now making their way down pit lane. This is pretty huge because DeGroot can make it on one more stop. Leaves absolutely no room for an overtime finish. But it is definitely going to make things interesting watching this one late in the race. DeGroot down and away, 8.42 seconds. And actually, that was not DeGroot on pit lane. That was Eric Peterson that we were looking at on pit lane. When do we see Nick DeGroot come in? It's going to be this time. 26 laps to go. Hard on the brakes, down to the pit road speed limit. There's race leader Charles Teed with a 3.6 second advantage over Jim Brooks. DeGroot now down and away, 8.58 seconds. The time of the stop for Nick DeGroot. And with 25 laps to go, we still don't know who can make it to the end on fuel. Nick DeGroot's last stint, 27 laps. He should be good to go. Charles Teed, not so much. As we see DeGroot blend right back in line with Matt Wagner, Vic Aldrich, Sebastian Kinder. Jim Brooks going to be at the head of that line. Great exchange of the pit stops there for Jim Brooks. Only 37.5 seconds on pit lane. So have your race leader on the right-hand side of your screen. The battle for second. Jim Brooks, Matt Wagner, Nick DeGroot. They're all lined up nose to tail. And thus far, not making up a ton of ground here on Charles Teed. However, this group may be in a little bit of a fuel save strategy, whereas Teed is in absolute push mode. Oh man, this is really getting insane. Oh, the other question that will come into play, the clock. 14 minutes, 35 seconds remain in the race with 20 laps to go. 21 laps to go. This is gonna be tight. Our math says the race should end in about 13 minutes. A caution flag would completely throw that out the window as we see Jason Hand making his way down pit lane. Man, this is going to be intense. Our math says Jim Brooks should have about 14 laps of fuel remaining in the car. Matt Wagner looks like he has about 18 laps remaining. And Nick DeGroot is loving every bit of the drafting help that he's getting down the front straightaway. The lead for Charles Teed sitting at 3.8 seconds. that is not enough. If he wants to try to hold on to the race lead after an exchange of pit stops. Wagner now going to tuck back inside of Nick DeGroot. I'll basically let him through in turn 3. That's about the only prayer some of these guys have. And yeah, here comes Jim Brooks down pit lane this time. Swap the views over here so you can see what is now pretty much the effective battle for the lead of the race. Brooks down and away, 6.38 seconds. Every lap the rest of these drivers can go without having to make a stop is a little bit less fuel you have to take. So being the first one on pit road, not necessarily the ideal spot to be in here. I want to remind everybody, coming up next here on the National Racing Network, it will be the 2022 season finale for the Indy Pro 2000 Championship, coming up from Watkins Glen International. What has been a spectacular championship battle all season long for the Indy Pro 2000s is going to come down to not much here over the final week of the season. Graham Sanders with a 39-point lead over teammate John Badeford. David Porcelli sitting about 100 points back. But Watkins Glen is a place that we've seen some craziness. Don't want to miss that one coming up here at 10:15 in the East. Down to 15 laps to go here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Charles Teed is expanding his lead and doing it by a pretty wide margin. It's still not enough. But let's pick up Teed. He's about at the yard of bricks as the rest of the competition is coming off of turn number 4. DeGroot really slowing the field down here. The slower he goes, the better the odds are that he can make the end. Vic Aldrich gets around. We're really watching the gap between Teed and DeGroot at this point. If Nick DeGroot can make it to the end on fuel, he's going to need a big stretch. Charles Teed is going to need a big stretch because it is such a long pit lane here at Indianapolis. And Vic Aldrich, quite frankly, doing Nick DeGroot a huge favor here by coming around and getting past. That's going to allow DeGroot to stay in the draft. Yeah, because Nick DeGroot going to have to do a 28-lap stint. He's actually going to have to go one lap farther than he did. Oh, and the caution is out. Caution flag is on the racetrack. Oh, this is huge. Charles Teed is your race leader. Trouble for Brandon Ishkanyan. Oh, man. Whoa, and a huge hit into the outside wall. Not quite sure what the issue was there for Ishkanyan, but good Lord. Absolutely plowing into the outside wall. Oh, a couple of more cars making contact deeper in the field as well. So as we go back to the live look here, let's see if we can find a quick word here with Dark Horse Indy's Charles Teed. All right, Charles, we got you up here in the booth with us. Does this caution give you enough to get to the end on fuel?
No, I was gambling that we were going to be able to rip it here. Some races, at being the rabbit pays off, and some days it doesn't. No, I got to pit right now, unfortunately.
All right, bud. Well, we'll let you back down to your room then here. But, man, hell of a run tonight. Thank you much.
Yeah, we gave it all we had. Thank you, buddy.
So Charles Teed coming down pit road. I'll tell you what, he's not going to be in that much trouble here. Nick DeGroot staying out on the racetrack, as is Eric Peterson. Jim Brooks also going to stay out. Cullen Johnston does as well. This is all the fuel that DeGroot needed to make it to the end here. Coming down and away, and Vic Aldrich going to beat Charles Teed off the pit lane. So it'll be Aldrich, Teed, Wagner, Kinder. And it looks like McMurray, Watson, Destino, and Morales will be the final cars to make their way off the pit lane. Let's see if we can also get a very quick word in here with Eric Peterson. And Eric, I'll tell you what, bud, running second here, not the worst place you want to be, but are there any concerns that you may have to make the move quick here in case the race gets time limited?
Yeah, this is going to be a crazy start. I am behind, of course, the master of the Indy Oval, and that is Nick, so I'm just going to try to stay with him at this point. I've raced enough against him to know that he'll lead me there. Then I gotta work him on those last few laps. I'm not sure if I can get in front of him on this restart or not, but we're certainly going to give it a shot. I got enough fuel to make it to the end, and I'm just hoping these tires hold up because I've got 16 laps on these tires, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, bud, good luck here, and put on a hell of a show for us.
All right, thank you. Thanks, guys.
There you go. There's Eric Peterson currently running in the second position. Good run here for Jim Brooks as well. Let's bring him up here to the interview room. We'll get one more in here as we get ready to go green this next time by. And Jim, what are you thinking here? We're down to 4 minutes and 20 seconds or so left in this one. Not a lot of time. Do you have anything for Nick and Eric in front of you?
Probably not.
Well, it's the honesty that we appreciate. All right, buddy. Well, good luck and give them hell here, man. We appreciate you checking in.
All right. Thanks, man.
Man of many words, Jim Brooks. Oh, that was fantastic. So it'll be about 3 minutes and 30 seconds or so when we go back to green flag racing and 10 to go. Yeah, we're not going to get the rest of this one in, at least not to the full advertised distance. At least I don't think so. My math says we have about 4.5 laps to go here. Pace car is in, green flags in the air. We are underway once again here at Indianapolis. Nick DeGroot going to get a fantastic jump in towards turn 1. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left to go. Oh, and the caution is out. Yellow flag is out. Looks like trouble for James Watson. Take a look here, see if we can see what happened. Oh man, Watson just absolutely lost it on his own at the exit of turn 1. But the spin in front of the field will bring out the yellow flag. And this will likely be all she wrote here, as Nick DeGroot has only 2 minutes left. And quite frankly, going to be able to milk a little bit of time off the clock as well, getting everybody packed up behind the pace car. Even if they change it to 1 to green, I think about the only thing you're going to get is a very short blast off of turn number 4. And it looks like Nick DeGroot will be your race winner here, as we are down to the final 65 seconds of this race. Tough break for Eric Peterson and Jim Brooks. As they will see the white flag this time by the start-finish line. Only 40 seconds remaining. And the clock will run out. Actually, while they're on the back straightaway here, Nick DeGroot will pick up the win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the ESRA INDYCAR Series. And the clock has expired, so this will be the final lap of the race. Nick DeGroot will come around to claim the victory, so long as he can get through turns 3 and 4 cleanly. Eric Peterson and Jim Brooks will round out the podium here tonight. And I'll tell you what, a little bit surprising, but this won't make a massive difference in the points race. Connor Baldwin, even though he has a last place finish, Ty Richter, who was second in points and 40 back basically, gonna come home 13th. So there is a little bit of gain there, but not a ton. James Watson gonna come home in the 14th position. Matt Wagner will finish 6th. He entered the night tied with Alec Coates for 4th. Coates finishing in the 12th position. Eric Schaus, Craig Forsyth, not even entered tonight for 6th and 7th. And it looks like we're going to get a green flag. 1 lap shootout here. How about that? Back to green quickly. Oh, a couple of cars hard into the outside wall. Charles Teed going to be involved in that one. TJ McMurray also out of the race. Vic Aldrich with a big problem, but we've got to fight for the win. DeGroot and Peterson side by side off in turn number 4. DeGroot bobs and weaves, checkered flags out. Who's it going to be at the line? Nick DeGroot. What a finish. I didn't think we were going to get a white flag lap, but good Lord, was it a good one. Holy cow, that was incredibly tight. How about 11 thousandths of a second separating first and second at the line? There is your race winner, Nick DeGroot. Impressive showing there. Let's show you our final race results. Oh, Nick, don't do the burnout on the bricks, though, man. We'll have to give him a hard time about that in the interview. Nick DeGroot, your winner officially by 9 thousandths of a second over Eric Peterson. Jim Brooks completes the podium, Cullen Johnston, and Matt Wagner the top 5. Sebastian Kinder, TJ McMurray, Joseph Morales, Jeff Destino, and Alec Coates the top 10. 11 to 15, Ty Richter, James Watson, Jason Hand, Charles Teed, and Vic Aldrich. Heartbreaker for Teed and Aldrich there with the incident off of turn 2. Andrew Acera comes home 16th, Gary Corley 17th, Brandon Ishkanyan in the 18th position, and 19th tonight is Connor Baldwin. Good Lord, I thought we weren't going to have much to talk about with the race ending under caution. A little bit of fuel save, strategy type shenanigan games. Let's take a look at this finish one more time as they come off at turn number 4. Absolutely huge run by Eric Peterson off of turn 4. Even at the attenuator at the start of pit lane, Peterson was close, but not that close. And there it is, your finish at the line. Good Lord. That's how you get it done, gentlemen. Let's get our interviews ready to go here, and we'll start things off with our race winner. We'll bring in Mr. Nick DeGroot. Holy cow, Nick. I thought this race was ending under caution. I didn't think we were going to get the green and white together with the clock having expired. Were you ready for it? And, man, talk us through that last lap.
Yeah, there was a lot of confusion towards the end of it with the timer coming into play, but I said over the mic, I'm like, I'm restarting either way. I wasn't even going to let myself think about it. I was just staying in race mode, pretending this is the white flag, even if it's not, just go for it. And yeah, it ended up being a little closer than I wanted it to be with Eric there. The last thing you want to be is the leader on a one-lap shootout Indy, because that guy in second gets one hell of a run. And I think the fact we had some older tires on him probably saved me. If all those guys had pitted and it was Wagner and Charles behind me with fresh tires, and they could have just full throttled it through all the corners right behind me, I think I would have been finishing definitely not first, probably second or third. But yeah, it all worked out.
And then the other thing that I had to ask you about was you really played the strategy absolutely to a T tonight, able to maximize 27, 28 lap stints when everybody else was going to be a little bit short. Was there any concern that that might not be the right call, though, if everybody else was able to go full blast and you had to do a ton of fuel saving?
Yeah, if we were at a smaller track that definitely would have been concerned. But I think with the size of Indianapolis, I was going to be okay there. And yeah, that was my strategy from the get go. Starting from the back, I'm like, all right, let's save fuel. Let's try to cut out a pit stop. And then we give that early caution. And it wasn't much, but that gave me another lap and a half of green flag fuel to put back in the tank, which ended up meaning something. And if that thing went green to the end, it was going to be rather close for me too, especially with the fact I would have had to lead those final few laps with everybody else pitting, because you really burn a lot when you're out front. So yeah, it almost worked out, but of course in the end, fuel strategy gets thrown out the window, becomes a shootout. So it became anybody's race.
Yeah, you know what? Very much like the real world 500 as well, man. I'll tell you what, it was a fantastic show you guys put on tonight. Congratulations on picking up the win, and make sure you get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, thank you to everybody at Factorback Motorsports and everyone who supports us from motorsport.com, CovyMore.com, to Good Automotive U-Haul and Detailing, Wegmans, Blaze Pods, Canvas Shoes, Cowboy Shit, and everybody else. And also congrats to Eric Peterson, Jim Brooks on a podium. And although they ended up getting the finishes they deserved, Matt Wagner and Charles Teed as well, they both ran a really good race.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun watching those guys too. And Nick, thank you very much for the show you put on, and looking forward to talking to you here again soon. And let's bring in the guy that I am absolutely gutted for at this point. I did not see this race going back green. In fact, I just said the same thing to Nick. I didn't think we were going to get the green flag when we did. What was going through your head?
I didn't think so either.
We
didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know if they were going to throw the checker and green at the same time or the green and white at the same time. And then we came around and got the start, and it just said green flag, and my crew chief didn't say like 1 to go or anything like that. So we thought we might get like a true green white checker out of the deal, and man, I was close. Oh, I thought I had it, but Nick drove a great race, and he kept me close enough in turn 4 that I couldn't get a good enough run. I don't know if he backed out of it just a little bit to keep me that close, but the car handled great out of 4, and I thought I had a great run, and I realized how close I was to him, and I didn't get a good enough run to jump out and get him at the line. But man, it was close. What was that, about 2 feet, I think? Maybe a foot and a half?
Yeah, about a foot and a half down there at the line. 9/1000ths of a second is what it was officially scored as. Talk us through
if the start-finish line was 10 feet further down, I think I would have had him.
That was going to be kind of my question here. You were a tick high in 4. I don't know that mattered much. Nick seemed to think that really the key was you guys being on about the same age of tire, a little bit older of tire. Some of the other guys that came in late in the race, was that the difference, or what do you think it was there through 3 and 4?
I stayed high on purpose just to get a little bit of clean air, and plus then that would give me the distance. It would back me off just a little bit coming out of the corner to get a good enough run coming up to him. Because if you're right on his butt and you're both going the same speed, then you can't really gain a good draft and get a good slingshot out of 4 like that. So I did want to create that gap a little bit, and I don't, like I said, I don't know. I'll have to ask Nick and see what he did. If he did see that I was, drifting back a little bit, because that's the way to get the run, at least from what I understand, to get that run out of 4, to get it. It was so close. And I realized when I was coming out of 4, it's like, I'm too close to him, but I still had a little bit of a run, but I don't, not enough mile an hour wise before I had to move out from behind him. So, but it was close. It was a fun race.
Yes, it was. We're just watching the finish back here again in slow-mo, and good Lord, man, that was absolutely insane. I'm going to call it, how about the depth of the front wing? That's what the difference was at the line. Just crazy, man. Thank you very much for an insane show. And before we let you go, get all your sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Yeah, I want to thank, I got to do sponsor my car tonight, Lead IQ. It's actually the company I work for. So great company. Got Troy Lee Designs on there, and I got Green White Checker TV on there for the Brooks family, as well as some other guys. So, and thanks to you guys for putting on a great show. It's always fun to watch your broadcasts. This is the first ESRA race I've been a part of, and racing against all these guys in other leagues and coming over here to run this. It was a blast, and you guys do a great job. It's always fun to watch the broadcasts. And then thanks to my parents down in South Carolina, which I'm going to go see next week, and all's good. So thank you so much.
Very cool. Enjoy it, brother. Thank you much for checking in with us here, and We'll bring in our third place finisher tonight, a guy who said he didn't think he had anything for the race leaders. It turned out to be a little bit prophetic there, but I'll tell you what, Jim, the car was really good all night long. Talk us through how the night went for you and kind of what your thoughts were as we came off of turn 4, not knowing whether that was going to be green, white, green checkered, what we could possibly see there.
Yeah, that was a good one there. No, I mean, I just kind of did it medium, not too hard, and the car is hard to do much behind people except follow them. So I figured I'd just kind of hang on, try to get some pit stops and some advantages there, and did okay and moved up some. And then once I realized that Nick was going to be able to make it without one more stop, and I needed about 4 gallons, I went ahead and short pitted once the window was open, didn't take tires. That's why when you asked me if I had anything for him, I had older tires. So yeah, I was not going to be able to challenge. I was happy with third.
I'll tell you what, it was a hell of a run tonight. You had about the best view in the house of these two coming down the front stretch. Any tinge of go ahead and take each other out there as you're coming off of 4?
Oh yeah, I was shouting it out. But yeah, I thought that Eric had him there for a minute. It looked like it was really close, and then he just didn't get quite the quick enough run off. You had to right off the corner. You had to get the draft and slip out, and he was a little late. But excellent try, and of course, good win by Nick.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, hell of a show you guys put on tonight. Thank you very much for it. And before we let you go, get all those sponsor plugs and thank yous in.
Thank you guys for covering. That was a lot of fun, and always got to plug Area 51 Indy Series and throw something in for Charles Teed and his Dark Horse Series. But again, thanks guys for your coverage.
All right, bud, we appreciate the kind words from you. And man, good Lord, that was fun. There is no other word to describe it. As always, the world's greatest race course, you put IR18s on it, and it puts on an incredible show. We got another one here tonight. We've got more action coming up here tonight and this weekend. 10:15 in the East, it will be the Indy Pro 2000 Championship coming up from Watkins Glen International. And a special doubleheader coming up this weekend. You'll see the post go up shortly. The Real World Spec Corvette Series will be live here on the National Racing Network from Auto Club Speedway, Fontana, California. I am very pumped to get these guys on our airwaves. They kind of grassroots racing, a very affordable type series. We're really looking forward to seeing Spec Corvette come out onto the NRN airwaves, and you'll get to see that. Should be Saturday and Sunday. They do a field invert on Sunday for the trophy race and everything else. They really do put on a spectacular show. You don't want to miss that one coming up. But with that, we are getting out of here so we can get ready for the Indy Pro 2000 Series finale for 2022 Season 2. For everybody here at the National Racing Network, my name is Chris Graham. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will talk to you all soon. Have a good night, everybody.